Unlock your soul's map. 7 symptoms you're awakening to your higher purpose. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe everything you were taught about life purpose is upside down? Most people believe destiny is a matter of luck, randomness, or hard work. But what if reality is actually orchestrated by a spiritual map written before you were even born? Sounds controversial, doesn't it? Yet those who dare to question the obvious discover something shocking. The universe is not silent. It speaks all the time, through energy, consciousness, and even your dreams. The truth is, countless people wander through life feeling lost, chasing goals that never fill the emptiness inside. They meditate, read about spirituality, try techniques of healing, but still feel a strange gap, like something essential is missing. That missing piece is often the understanding that your spiritual development is not random. It's mapped out as a calling, waiting to be awakened. And the greatest proof is in the synchronicities that appear daily, pointing you toward self-knowledge and transformation. What you're about to discover is not another shallow guide filled with cliches. It's a deep dive into a mystical yet practical knowledge, a journey that connects astrology, spiritual growth, energy work, and personal development into one thing, a spiritual vision that reveals your soul's map. If you allow yourself to open this spiritual portal, you'll see that awakening is not just for a select few. It's accessible to everyone who is ready to elevate their soul. And perhaps reading these words right now is already the universe's way of telling you your awakening has begun. Topic 1. Astrology as a map of the soul. Astrology is not just about horoscopes in magazines or predictions about romance. Think of it as a map of the soul, a kind of cosmic GPS that reveals the lessons hidden in your own journey. Each zodiac sign, each planet, each energetic aspect, it's like a phrase written by the universe to tell you, hey, you came here with a mission. When we start to look at astrology with spiritual vision, it stops being superstition and becomes a guide for self-knowledge and personal development. It whispers clues about your true self and the unique transformation you came here to live. Imagine, for example, that you feel a strong calling to heal. Maybe you're always the person everyone runs to when their energy is down. Astrology can confirm this tendency by showing placements in your chart related to healing, meditation, and energy work. Suddenly, what felt like random situations start making sense. It's like looking at your life with 3D glasses. The reality you always experienced now connects with your soul, your higher self, and even the purpose of your spiritual awakening. Every coincidence becomes synchronicity, part of a much bigger consciousness. The truth is that this mystical map is not meant to restrict you, but to expand your perception of reality. It helps you meditate more deeply, understand your energetic hypersensitivity, and embrace personal growth without fear. In this sense, astrology isn't about predicting what's going to happen tomorrow, but about enlightening the patterns of your soul to guide you toward your healing and awakening. And once you glimpse how this works, an even bigger question arises. If astrology shows us the shape of the soul, how does spirituality itself reveal the evolution behind that map? Topic 2. Spirituality, Mission, and Purpose. Spirituality always knocks on the door of those who are ready to listen. It whispers in dreams, awakens in meditation, and sometimes shouts through life's difficulties. The purpose is never about achieving perfection, but about experiencing transformation. Your higher self guides you subtly, placing you in contact with synchronicities that push you towards spiritual growth and self-knowledge. The truth is that the quest for your life mission is deeply tied to how much you are willing to listen to the energy and consciousness around you. Everyone, sooner or later, faces this calling.
For some, it feels like a gentle breeze pushing toward a new path. For others, it's an intense, energetic portal that opens suddenly and shifts everything: relationships, work, reality itself. This process often generates what many call spiritual isolation, but in fact, it is a moment of inner preparation. When the universe interrupts your routine, it is usually to elevate your soul toward a bigger mission, a hidden awakening waiting to be embraced. Spirituality is not about running to the mountains and abandoning life. It's about anchoring consciousness in daily actions, cultivating inner peace even when your boss seems like a test sent by the gods. When someone begins to see purpose in the challenges, then the awakening becomes real, dynamic, and practical. And just when the seeker begins to understand this mission, astrology returns to the scene, like a compass that reveals which lessons shape the evolution of their consciousness in this incarnation. Topic 3. Astrology as a cosmic compass. The astral chart is like a cosmic manual, although most people live without ever opening it. It shows not only tendencies and personality, but also the very tests that the soul chose before incarnating. These tests usually appear in the form of repetitive patterns, unstable relationships, constant professional blocks, or recurrent states of energetic hypersensitivity. Within this map, every planetary aspect is not random. It's the universe indicating the arenas where transformation and personal development will occur. Imagine a person who always attracts complicated relationships. Astrology could show Venus in aspect with Pluto, indicating lessons about attachment, control, and emotional depth. From then on, instead of feeling a victim of fate, one can see the energetic patterns and, with meditation, consciousness, and energy work, begin the healing journey. This whole process is not about following rigid rules like never date Aries or avoid travel on Mercury retrograde. It's about learning to decode these signals as clues from your higher self. Once you start seeing astrology as a cosmic compass, the line between mystery and reality blurs. But the big question is, how can this compass truly guide someone in discovering the unique lessons their soul came to learn in this incarnation?
Topic 4. Spiritual Lessons of Incarnation. Every incarnation is like enrolling in a cosmic university, with specific subjects that the soul chose to study. Some people come into this lifetime with lessons in patience, others in forgiveness, and many in mastering their own energy. The chart reveals these mandatory disciplines, while the universe constantly presents practical tests, sometimes as subtle as an argument at the family table, other times as strong as a life crisis that forces a transformation. Those who learn to meditate on their incarnational lessons begin to see reality in a different way. Small problems become training in spiritual development, and what used to cause suffering becomes healing opportunities. For example, someone experiencing financial difficulties may be maturing lessons about detachment, generosity, or how to align action with their true calling. Astrology here doesn't infantilize. The person must face reality head-on, but knowing that behind every test is the possibility of elevating the soul. These lessons are rarely easy. They activate energetic portals inside the person, generating what we know as the 7 symptoms of awakening: hypersensitivity, strange sleep patterns, intense desire to isolate oneself, unexplained emotions, sudden intuition, energy fluctuations, and deep questioning of reality. These phenomena challenge the logical mind, but make perfect sense when seen as checkpoints in spiritual growth. Which leads us directly into the next theme. How does the evolution of consciousness unfold within this process? Topic 5. Evolution of consciousness. Consciousness doesn't evolve like an escalator. It's more like hiking up a mountain. There are difficult climbs, slippery descents, but also breathtaking views from above. Every time the soul integrates a spiritual lesson, it rises in frequency, like tuning into a higher hertz on the radio of the universe. This elevation is what mysticism has always pointed toward, awakening from the illusion of reality, and remembering that we are in fact
consciousness having a human experience. Meditation and energy work accelerate this path. A practical example? Someone practicing mindfulness daily doesn't just improve focus, they literally expand consciousness to perceive synchronicities that were invisible before. This perception is like putting on glasses that show the invisible threads connecting people, situations, and inner states. The more someone elevates awareness, the more they feel guided by their higher self, instead of being dragged by external circumstances. At this stage, people often experience what we call enlightenment glimpses, moments of immense inner peace and expansion of perception. However, such states do not come to inflate the ego, but to remind the soul of its true essence. Consciousness expanding reveals that reality has always been a mirror of inner states. And when the person awakens to this truth, another door opens. Astrology, once again, as an ally to guide spiritual awakening and prevent stagnation in the cycle of growth. Topic 6. Spiritual growth and awakening. Spiritual growth is not linear, nor is awakening a single event. It is a spiral. Sometimes it feels like moving forward, sometimes stepping back, but in truth, everything is part of the transformation. The person begins to see signs, dreams, intuitions, and feels drawn to practices such as meditation, energy healing, and working on the energetic field. This hypersensitivity, instead of being a curse, is proof that the higher self is recalibrating perception, tuning into the frequency of the soul. It's common in this period to feel spiritual isolation, as if no one else understands the new reality. Friends may drift away, family may criticize, and the individual suddenly feels out of tune with old environments. But here lies a secret. This is not punishment, it's a natural purification of energies. The universe removes what no longer resonates, so that reality can open spiritual portals that connect the seeker to their mission. The real test is whether the person can maintain faith, inner peace, and willingness to elevate the soul despite difficulties. Step by step, this awakening leads to profound personal development. One day, without realizing it, the person looks back and sees how different they are from the past self. That shy person now meditates with confidence. That insecure being now trusts the energy flowing through them. Growth happens quietly, yet it transforms everything. And still, an even deeper mystery lingers. If awakening brings so many changes, what are the true signs that someone is experiencing this passage?
Topic 7. The 7 Symptoms of Awakening. The famous 7 symptoms of spiritual awakening are more common than people imagine, but when they begin, they can feel overwhelming. The first symptom is energetic hypersensitivity. You enter a room and instantly perceive whether the energy is heavy or light. The second is an urge to isolate yourself, not out of sadness, but because the soul needs silence for integration. The third is an avalanche of strange dreams, filled with mysticism and portals that seem to reveal truths beyond reality. The fourth symptom is an emotional roller coaster. You smile and cry almost in the same hour, as if your soul is releasing ancient energies. The fifth is an intense connection with consciousness itself. Meditation stops being an exercise and becomes a need, something as vital as breathing. Sixth, changes in your body and perception of time, sleeping at odd hours, hearing frequencies like 432 Hz, or resonating deeply with certain sounds. Seventh, a profound sensation that your mission is waking up, that there is a calling greater than your personal story. Understanding these symptoms brings relief. You realize you're not alone, you're not losing it. On the contrary, your spiritual development is advancing. But here's the catch. Recognizing these signs is just the beginning. The real journey is applying all this wisdom in everyday life. And that's where the importance of seeing astrology and spirituality not as separate things, but as bridges that reveal your true self and connect you to the mission of elevating your soul begins to shine. So, now the question is, what will you do with all this knowledge? Will you let it remain as just another text you read on spirituality, or will you courageously apply it in your reality? The universe doesn't reward those who simply accumulate information. It responds to those who act, who open energetic portals within themselves and take the first conscious step. Your higher self has probably been signaling this for a long time through dreams, synchronicities, and even moments of spiritual isolation. Isn't it time to listen? Ask yourself sincerely, what lesson is life insisting I learn right now? What pattern keeps repeating in my relationships, work, or emotions? These aren't accidents. They are calls for healing, personal development, and awakening. If you stop ignoring signs, meditate, do practical energy work, and truly commit to elevating your soul, transformation won't just be a possibility, it will be inevitable. Remember, the only barrier between your current self and your true self is the courage to live consciously. And here's an invitation. If this text touched something inside you, don't let the momentum fade. Subscribe to the channel, activate the notifications, and keep walking this path with me. Each video is a spiritual portal, sometimes a gentle one, sometimes a powerful one, that can be exactly the key your soul needs at that moment. The universe always speaks. The real question is, are you ready to listen and awaken?